All right, talking to business fans, part one. Aww,
like
so
that,
sweet.
don't you?
Aww.
You like that, don't you?
Where's James
Can I
Matthew
get
when
you
you need
going?
him? Where's James Matthew when you need him?
I don't know, man. I mean, he rode in with me today, so
Oh, Lord.
he ain't going home without me.
This isn't
Get
507.
my meeting.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. We'll get into that story.
All right.
Folks, it's real simple. First show out of 507 Gimmick Street. We're bringing you what you asked for, which is probably the best color commentator in the area. Let's be honest about it. It's Finn O'Riley.
Oh, Jesus, you're going to make my ego grow bigger than
Big
it already
head.
is.
I know.
My head is like, already. I don't need it anymore.
But UWA is growing. People are seeing you on TV. You're getting recognized. I mean, these things happen.
Well, people are hearing me on TV. You might see me on occasion, but
They see you on occasion.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. So, folks, we know you're going to enjoy this, and we start off pretty much all these with the same thing. There's a moment in anybody who's associated with pro wrestling that you stop becoming a fan, you go, I want to be involved. So, let's talk about that moment for you.
I've been a fan all my life, and not just a fan. I've been a hardcore fan my entire life.
Proud Mark. I'm a Proud Mark. I'm assuming you're a
Right?
Proud
Oh,
Mark.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up through the '80s with it, through the '90s. I probably grew up in the two best eras for professional wrestling.
Most definitely.
And I was an absolute mark for it the entire time.
Oh, yes.
I hate that word. I hate
Really?
that word, mark.
I'm a
Yeah.
Proud Mark.
I can't. I hate saying the word mark. I prefer saying fan. That's just me.
Okay, that's fine.
I understand that wrestling is steeped in tradition and everything, but to me, mark has negative connotations.
And it does. It does, and I use it only because of, to me, when I'm more in the back uses the word mark, oh, he doesn't really know anything. Well, guess what? I don't want to know what's going on in the back. I just want to be entertained. So for
Exactly.
me, that's okay.
Right,
But I can
exactly.
understand.
But I will call somebody a smark. I will call you a smark real quick if you earn it.
Oh.
But anyway, back to the question. Honestly, I grew up training in boxing, Jeet Kune Do. My dad had me learn fencing.
Oh, wow.
How many people do you know can say that they know how to fence? And the thing is that my dad told me, he's like, if you want to learn how to fight, because like I told him I wanted to train to be a wrestler.
Okay.
And he said, if you want to learn to fight, you're going to learn to fight.
Gotcha.
So, of course, you're in Boston. You're a kid. You tell everybody that you want to learn how to fight. What did they put you in? They put you in boxing.
Yes.
And my uncles, though, were huge wrestling fans. So they kind of fed that
Okay.
a little bit. But
There's got to be a moment.
skip forward. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Skip forward a good ways away.
Okay.
I had joined the Army.
Yes.
Got into broadcasting through the Army.
Okay.
Did podcasting. Came out of the Army and said my body is screwed up. There's no way I could train in wrestling now. So I got into podcasting, and I started podcasting through my other love, which is horror. Horror. Not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's another James Matthews
Right,
story.
right,
Please
right.
go ahead.
But I started podcasting about that, about horror and haunting and haunted attractions, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's how I met CAC.
Okay.
And CAC came to me and said, "Hey, listen, we're going to start being on TV. We need a commentator. We need a ring announcer. Could you fill that role?"
Okay.
And just instantly, right then and there, I said, "This is totally going to happen. This is absolutely going to happen." So yeah, that's what I joined, and that's what I knew.
And that's an awesome moment. And kind of going into that, you were talking about your love in the beginning. I've heard this great story. I loved the old tape trading days.
Oh my
Because
God.
one of my favorites, and people that know me know that I fell in love with ECW because the Great Wrestling Commander would send the weekly Eastern Championship Wrestling tapes down to my homeboys in Columbia, South Carolina. That's how I fell in love with ECW. So, of course, we're sending them stuff they don't get and vice versa. And it was just a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Right, and see, if you don't know, before WWE, before the national, international federations, you had the localized
Yep.
groups.
Most definitely.
And the only way you could see anything nationally was through tape trading, which is you're part of a group, they're part of a group, you go film your live shows, you send your tapes to this group, they send their tapes to you.
Yep.
And that was awesome because I grew up in WWE's backyard back when it was WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up watching ECW when it was Eastern Championship.
Which is enough stories all to itself.
Exactly. But that's what I knew locally.
And see, for me growing up, it was we had World Class Championship Wrestling on Saturday mornings, and then because my father was stationed at Fort Bliss, and then on Saturday nights the Guerreros would run their house shows in El Paso. So like literally a 14-year-old Eddie Guerrero running around selling T-shirts. You know, that it was just a family business. That's what you did. And you had Hector and Chavo and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So, yeah, great time, man.
Oh, absolutely. And see, that's the thing, though, is that's how I got a hold, because my uncles, once again, they fed my addiction. My dad hated it. My uncles were bigger fans than I am.
Okay.
So when they found out that I was getting into business, they were like, "Oh my God!" But they were part of a tape trading group.
Okay.
So I would get to see Stampede,
Oh, nice.
WCCW, USWA,
Great stuff.
just all kinds of different federations. And honestly,
I hate to interrupt. I love the USWA stuff. Only because of Cornette is such an underrated when it comes to a storyteller.
Oh,
and some of the stuff he was doing in USWA was absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, the USWA stuff is my personal favorite. Yeah, I like the ECW. I like the WWF. USWA is what did it for me.
Gotcha.
I loved Southern wrestling.
Most definitely.
Just because they were men.
Yeah, most definitely.
They were men wrestling. And it was cool seeing other styles and everything, but I gravitated towards USWA just because of like the Southern Territories is where I really gravitated towards. You had Jerry Lawler. You had
Bill Dundee.
Oh my God, Bill Dundee. You had Dusty.
Oh God.
Dusty was all over the place, but
Most
man,
definitely.
I remember his stuff from the Southern Territories, and that's where I gravitated towards him. I mean, people know my hobbies and they know what I like, and they're actually surprised to find out that The Undertaker is I can't move my pinky anymore, my third favorite wrestler of all time.
Okay.
Yeah. And people are surprised by that, and they're like, okay, well, what's number one? Dusty Rhodes.
I won't say he's in my personal top 5, but I will say this, and this came later in his career, so it's maybe a surprise to people. The story he told to put a 22-year-old Steve Corino over in ECW to this day. You had Corino and Jack Victory on one side, Dusty on the other. That made Steve Corino. Steve Corino is not what he is today without that story and Dusty doing what he did. And back then, at that time, I think he had 2 moves left.
Yeah.
He went from 4 to 2, and that's all he needed.
Right.
That is all he needed.
Well, see, the way that I say it is Daniel Bryan is today's Dusty Rhodes. Because if you look at it, what is Daniel Bryan? Daniel Bryan was the underdog.
Oh, most
He's the
definitely.
guy who didn't have the look,
You got it?
didn't have the body, but he had the skill.
Oh, most
And
definitely.
he had the heart. What was Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, most definitely.
Dusty Rhodes didn't have the body,
No.
didn't have the look,
No.
had the skill.
Oh, you better.
And oh my God, was he a master on the mic.
One of the best ever. One of the best ever.
that
Top
was it,
5
you
ever.
know?
That's just the way it is. All right, so let's go from there to, okay, so now you're announcing for UWA.
Yes.
UWA is really growing in the area. It's been wonderful. When obviously you're listening to other announcers maybe to learn from. Maybe it's to pick up an idea here or there, or maybe just to learn the skill of putting over a storyline or a wrestler. Who are you listening to?
Well, honestly,
Yeah.
I listened more to. I remember the boxing announcers back in the day.
Yeah.
So I would listen to Michael Buffer,
Oh,
him
yeah.
and his brother, and I would listen to Jack Lennon, Jack Lemmon Jr.
Nice.
And honestly, you can't go wrong with Finkel.
Wow, I didn't even think of Howard Finkel.
Yeah.
And that's
Most
really
people
bad of
don't.
me. That's really bad of me. He was always great. To me, I'm thinking, it sounds crazy, but Lance Russell.
Yeah.
Always enjoyed
Yeah.
Lance Russell. Joey Styles, again, being that ECW thing.
Yeah.
Just doing it by himself.
I think
And I give him
I think
respect for
Joey.
that.
I think Joey Styles fit in ECW.
Yes.
In his WWE run,
No.
I don't think that worked.
No, he's got to be by himself.
Right.
You put him with anybody, and it just doesn't seem
Well,
right.
it's not only that, he fit the image.
Oh, most
You
definitely.
know, his voice fit the image very much.
And then I will say this also, and I gotta say it, even though I didn't like him earlier in his career, Kevin Kelly with Mr. Wrestling 3, Steve Corino.
Yeah.
What they're doing right now, I can listen to those guys all day long.
yeah.
Not
Oh,
a problem. And I never thought Corino would be good in color commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought.
But actually, the one name that really comes to mind, you said before, Jim Cornette.
Oh, most definitely.
I mean, the man is a showman through and through. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's almost like watching a skilled conductor conduct an orchestra with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. I love his work.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You're not going to find again, to me, it's the storytelling, whether it's with his stuff in Ring of Honor with Homicide and obviously with Scum. You want to go back to USWA. Even when he was with WWE and some of the stuff, I don't know if some of the guys he worked with are become as over without Cornette. And I think just the way he presented them and their stories and Yokozuna. Yeah, Yokozuna was this big guy, but Cornette made him out to something to a whole nother level.
Well, yeah.
You know?
I mean, he had to. I mean, that's the thing is that was his job.
Yeah.
When he was a manager, that was his job. His job was to take this guy who's probably not that strong on the mic and basically be his hype man. You know, this guy who's standing there probably in his normal life is like a big teddy bear. You know,
Yeah.
Jim Cornette's probably out there going, he's going to crush you. He's going to destroy you. You got to cut the balls rock. You know, I mean,
Oh my God.
that was his job, and he was the master at it.
Oh, you got it.
He was the master.
If Heyman was the psychology, then Cornette could just he could put your grandmother over as a killer. I mean, it was
Exactly.
just that simple.
Heyman was psychology. Cornette was vocally technical.
Oh, most definitely.
He knew it. He knew it like the back of his hand. It was great. And once again, Paul Heyman, you know, he knows what he's doing.
I bet
He
he
knows
does.
what to say. But once again, he has an understanding of the psychology more than the technical aspect.
Oh, you better believe it. And again,
I
great
keep wanting to
storytelling.
play with this pillow.
It's
Like, I feel so nice. It's like microfiber, I think, something like that. I don't know. I'm getting off track.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Virgil, I know you're watching this. Don't make a comment. Saying that,
Oh, please comment.
oh, trust me, if you ask, he will deliver. I guarantee it. That there's no denying that.
I'm joking.
Oh, but unfortunately with him, you're not. That's the bad
Right,
part.
right.
All right, so
Anyway.
let's talk about one last thing, part one, because we got a bunch of stuff in part two, and I do
Yeah.
want to get over the art form of putting over a talent as a color commentator. Whether you're trying to put heat on a guy and telling them, the fans, oh my God, this guy is the worst human being on the face of the earth, or telling the fans, this is the guy you gotta cheer for, oh my God, or getting sympathy for the babyface.
Mm-hmm.
That art form. I mean,
And it is. It is. It really is. I mean, I can sit there and tell you all about a guy till I'm blue in the face and passing out. And it doesn't amount to nothing. It's more of a partnership
agreed.
than anything else. You know, they've got to put on the show.
Yes.
They've got to put on the visual aspect of what's going on. They have to tell their story. It's my job to interpret that story.
And see, I was going to say paint the story.
Right. It's my job to take the story that he's saying, interpret it in a way that gets people emotional about it. That's the job of the commentator.
And they do. They have to become emotionally involved. I think that's, as a fan, you tell me a story and I become emotionally involved, that's it at that moment. Life stops and that's what's happening.
Right. Right.
You know.
And I think what it is you really have to have a proper understanding of the business itself so that you know what flies, what doesn't.
Most definitely.
Learn from history.
Yes.
Learn from other people's mistakes. And then build on your own.
Oh, most definitely.
You really have to have an analytical mind, be able to learn from all that, and then take this, wrap it up in a nice, pretty bow, and then hand it to the fans and say, you're going to love this.
Oh, yeah.
That's the job of a commentator. You know, I mean, without that, it's pretty much just, you know, like once again, like the commentators in boxing back in the day. You know, left hook, right hook, straight jab, uppercut, uppercut. He goes down! You know, and there's no... That's why I love wrestling more than boxing, is because there's more show to it.
Oh, most definitely.
There's more emotion poured into it, and I love that.
And, you know, it's almost something that's missing today, but that leads into part 2. I've got great questions for you. We've got more James Anthony jokes coming. Lots more James Anthony jokes coming. We've got your questions coming. Fans, again, I know you've enjoyed this. This is only part 1. Part 2 coming next. So, again, Finn, it's Kevin. Deuces!